Hi, and welcome to the You World Order Showcase podcast, where we feature life, health, transformational, and spiritual entrepreneurs stepping up to be the change they seek in the world. I'm your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist, on a mission to help coaches and spiritual entrepreneurs amplify their voice, monetize their mission, and get visible, leveraging podcasts and our million-plus audience on the Gnostic TV network. Today, we are chatting with Susan Hart. And Susan empowers moms to reclaim their identity once their children enter school. It's really great to have you with us, Susan.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
We were joking about heart to heart when we first got started. So I'm going to ask you the question I ask everybody these days. What's the most significant thing, in your opinion, we can do as an individual to make the greatest impact on how the world is going?
Well, with all of the changes happening in the world and all of the chaos and turmoil, in my mind, the biggest thing that we can do individually is figure out our personal identity and our purpose in life. What is our individual purpose for being alive?
I love that. It's so important that we figure out what we're here to do and then get about doing it.
Yes,
And I think you really help moms with this. It's a problem that moms have. You just get your identity so tangled up with your kids and just talk about that a little bit.
absolutely. So, as moms, of course, we want the best for our kids and we usually want them to have better than what we had. And so we pour everything we can into our kids. And a lot of times to the point where there's nothing left for us. In my case, I was a mom for nearly 20 years and looked in the mirror one day and realized I had no idea who I was looking at. I was living life through my kids, and I didn't know who I was or what my purpose was in life. And thankfully, I have figured out how to get to that point of knowing who I am and what my purpose is. And it has made all of the difference.
It really does make a difference once you understand what you're here to do, then the going about doing it is just like it's becomes easy because you're gifted in the way that makes it possible for you to do that. But if you're
Absolutely.
fighting against it or you just don't know, and often I think, this is my personal opinion, we get caught up in the shoulds and have tos of life where you're trained from a very young age to do certain things and to be responsible, and the responsibility looks like X, Y, or Z depending on how you were raised, and kind of like blowing the doors off of that these days.
Right. And moms, society tells us that our kids need to be involved in everything. And it can be really overwhelming as a mom, feeling like you're chasing around all of the time, giving everything you have, and really running out of steam for yourself.
And you teach people the tools that they need to A, find themselves and B, like carve out boundaries in their lives.
Absolutely. Yes, we do a lot of exploration into who you used to be. And we determine, is that who you still are? Is that who you still want to be? And then we explore some other possibilities of who maybe you can be, who you want to be. And then we move forward with your purpose and vision in mind.
I love that. I love that. So do you do this in groups or do you do it one-on-one? How does the actual coaching look?
So, right now I'm doing one on one coaching. I have a group program that will be launching shortly. But especially with this identity and purpose part, I really feel strongly that that is a one on one conversation that needs to happen and an experience that needs to be really tailored to each individual client.
Yeah, I think I can see that. It's so personal.
Yes.
So why is it important, do you think, for moms to identify their purpose beyond motherhood?
Well, motherhood in my mind is a beautiful and sacred calling. And it is something that we as women are blessed to have the opportunity to experience. I also believe that it's so important for us to remember who we are. Our kids need to see that you don't become an adult and become nothing and become no one. That a mom should be able to follow her own dreams and her own passions. And it's possible to be a good mom and to follow your passions. It's possible and it's important to do. Our kids need to see that. And in my mind, that's one of the reasons that there's a lot of entitlement in the world today with kids because their parents just are willing to drop everything to do whatever the kid wants or needs in the moment.
Can see that a lot. I think we went through a period of time where kids were either latchkey kids, where their parents were both parents were working all the time and didn't have time for their kids, and so their kids were pretty much left to their own devices. And then we moved into the experience of, well, I'm not going to be like that for my kids. So that you have the helicopter moms and dads who are just like, uh, your kids have to be involved in everything, and you have to sacrifice all your own needs and wants for your children. And I think we're trying to move into like a more balanced look at, yes, your kids can explore different things, but maybe they don't have to do all the things all the time. Let them pick what thing they're interested in and experience it. And they don't have to be perfect at it. It's often good enough to just let them have a taste of it. And if they want to pursue it, great. If they don't want to pursue it, don't give them a lot of grief. If your kid in karate and they don't like karate, then they don't like karate. Put them in something else.
Yes. And that puts a lot of the responsibility back on the kid
Mhm.
instead of the parent. And so it's not the parent experiencing success or failure through their kid, but it's that child is having their own learning experiences because it's something they own. That's their success. That's their mistake. And kids are growing a lot more healthily when the parents choose to take that approach.
Yeah, letting your kids have options and make decisions and letting them practice being responsible. You know,
Yes.
with little really young kids, 4 or 5, 3 or 4, you can give them choices as simple as, what color socks do you want to wear today? Do you want to wear pink ones or blue ones? I don't care, but you have to make a choice. And teaching children how to make choices helps them as they grow up to become adults that are capable of making choices and also carving out um, the place in their own life where they're confident about decisions that they make, because they've made a bunch of decisions up to this point, so they can figure stuff out for themselves. You don't have to always be doing stuff for them.
Right. And that takes some of the pressure off the parents. If your kid doesn't get into the Ivy League school, yes, you feel a little bit sad for them, but it's not the end of the world. It's not a devastating heartbreak because this is their life and their experience and not your failure.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with you, honestly. I have
Yes.
I have one son that he was in his teens, and he had a scholarship to a pretty nice university for football, but he chose not to do that. He chose to do a different path. And the different path has led to like an amazing life. I mean, 20 years later, it's just like, wow, you made the right decision for you. It might have looked different at the moment, but you never know where things are going to lead.
Yes.
And it's good as parents if we can, in pursuing our own passions, if we can allow our kids to pursue theirs and not get in their
Yes.
way.
And that's where the balance comes in. Us supporting our kids in their dreams and them supporting us in ours and realizing we can support each other and follow
Mhm.
our dreams at the same time.
Yeah. And it's the supporting. It's like you can be excited for them and allow them to be excited for you.
Yes.
It really does help them. So, what are the benefits of a mom really knowing who she is?
Well, some of them we've talked about. A mom is confident when she knows who she is. She's not run down. She's not burned out.
Hey all, I'm Jill Hart. We all know that legal matters can be costly and stressful. Finding the right representation and dealing with high retainers and hourly bills adds up fast. But what if I told you there was a way to have legal insurance, just like your health or auto insurance? Well, Legal Shield has leveled that playing field. From just $29.95 a month, you get access to lawyers for personal legal matters, from traffic tickets to real estate issues or even trust matters. Help is just a tap away on your phone. Call or text 435-764-0875 and use the code JillLegal or start your journey to legal protection today.
And kids can sense that. In my own family, my kids have been so much happier since I have figured out who I am and since I've really started following my passions, and they can feel that difference, and they're not as entitled as they used to be. And so instead of saying, Mom, I don't feel like waiting for the school bus today, can you just come pick me up? They say, Mom, I know that you're busy. Do you have time to come pick me up? And if you're willing to pick me up, I'd be happy to do some extra chores because I know it's going to take you half an hour to come pick me up and get back home again. So I think it's really a mutually beneficial thing. We've all heard the saying, if mom's not happy, no one's happy. And that's really true. And when a mom can really know who she is, it's a completely different level of happy.
It is, and it allows your kids to experience different levels of happy. And I love the example you just gave because it shows that a level of empathy that kids can develop from understanding that they're asking something of you and you have to sacrifice something to help them uh, to make their life easier. So they're willing to do something to make yours. So what if a mom has felt lost for a really long time? Can she ever really find her identity again?
Absolutely. And sometimes that's the most important time for a mom to figure out who she is, because it's easy for us to get caught up in parenting and then suddenly before we know it we're empty nesters, and then at that point it really is like, who on earth am I and what do I do now? I've been a mom for 30 years, 40 years, 20 years, whatever it is. And now I don't know who I am and I don't know what to do. And so at that point, if a mom hasn't figured out who she is, then either she's having a total breakdown or she's smothering her adult children. And neither of those is a good situation. So my advice is, wherever you are on that parenting spectrum, figure out how to find your identity. Give yourself permission to release some of the control over your kids and take some time to figure out who you really are. Um, like I said, for me, it was 20 years of parenting before I got to that point, and I wish I had figured it out sooner. But I'm grateful that I figured it out when I did, because it has been such a beautiful experience the past several years, just evolving and becoming who I really am and seeing that change in my family.
I love as you get older and your kids start having their own families and the ability to just have them as people in your life that you enjoy being around. And if you start that while they're still young, it just carries on and then you're not really their parent anymore. You're just these people that you like having fun with them and you can go and do stuff and it then there's the grandbabies and they're so fun.
Yes, there's definitely a difference there when there's not this feeling of mom wanting to control me as an adult or mom
Mhm,
needing to feel needed by me.
mhm.
Um, changes the entire dynamic of the relationship for sure.
Yeah, it can be so good. I I'm thinking this is the best part of my life. I just like the kids are all out of the house and I've got grandbabies to play with and they invite us over and we can go and have fun, but it's not like I don't I don't feel the pressure of having to do for them all the time. And sometimes they have things that I can help them with and they'll ask, but it's not like I have to do anything.
Right.
I
And part
get
of
to do
that is
stuff.
probably because you know who you are.
Mhm,
And if you didn't, you would be feeling that pressure and you would be feeling that need to be hovering and being involved in their business because that's what you've always done.
mhm. And not feeling like you have to live their life for them because
Yes.
it's super easy to fall into that trap, especially when your kids are growing up, because there's all the other pressure of, oh, well, that kid looks like it's doing this thing and that kid looks like it's doing that thing and my kid's just doing this. And then
Hmm.
you start to resent your children because they're not living up to some artificial standard that, truth be told, nobody lives up to. But society wants us to believe that this standard exists. And if you can just
Yes.
let them be who they are and love them for who they are, then you raise people that they'll return the favor. If you're a little bit weird, they just don't care.
And
Speaking from
when we
experience.
choose to let them do those things, make
Mhm,
their own decisions, make their
mhm,
own mistakes,
mhm.
the version of them that really shines through is much better than the version of what we would force them into being.
Yeah, there's so many people that I talk to that are adults. I mean, like they've gone to school and they've become doctors or lawyers or whatever. They've spent a lot of money becoming a professional at something and they hate it because that's not what their passion was. Their passion was, basket weaving or leading people on adventures in the mountains. Not not
Yes.
bookkeeping or being an attorney or the things that people get pushed into trying to make their parents happy. And that's really a lot of it. It's like parents not being able to just accept children for who they are. They're not your children. I mean, you have a responsibility to shelter them and feed them and give them love, but they really belong to the universe. And your job is to
Right.
just help them kind of peel back the layers so that they can shine
Absolutely.
with what they're here to do.
And when we know who we are as the parent, there's no pressure on them to become who we think they should be. And when it happens, like you said, when they choose a career because their parents want them to, it harbors nothing but resentment and regret. So that's not something that any parent would want for their child. So when we can really focus on who we are and recognizing who they are, it just makes such a huge difference.
Kind of magic that happens.
Yes.
So, how can people get in touch with you, Susan?
You can join my Facebook group, and it is The Balanced Mom Creating Purpose and Passion Beyond Kids. My contact information is there in the Facebook group. You can message me through there. We've got a lot of good conversations going on there and some good resources there to help you get started.
And one of them is the 5 ways to reconnect with yourself guide.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yes. So we hear a lot about self care, which can be helpful, but in my experience, things like taking a bubble bath or painting my nails um, isn't really a way to help lighten my soul. So these are some quick 5-minute things that can help you really kind of reconnect with yourself and reground yourself to a place where your soul feels lighter and happier and in a place where you can feel more like yourself.
I love that. And people can find that in your group. So
Yes.
join the community and get the guide.
Yes.
Thanks so much for joining us today, Susan. And thank you to those of you who are tuning in. To learn more about parenting with purpose, reach out to Susan or join her community over on Facebook, The Balanced Mom Creating Purpose. And I will put that link in the show notes. And if you have a podcast or you're interested in starting one to get your message in front of our huge and active audience, be sure to reach out to us at Jill at the Gnostic or at gnostictv.com. We love to help spiritual entrepreneurs and coaches amplify their voice and monetize their mission, and offer a variety of ways to do this on the Gnostic TV network platform. Join us for our next episode as we share what others are doing to raise the global frequency. And remember, change begins with you. You have all the power to change the world, so start today and get visible.